Hey there guys, Ephraim's Vanguard here, and welcome to this last episode of Let's Play The Simpsons Hit and Run. This time around, we're going to be showing off a bunch of secrets and bonus content, and unfortunately I thought I would have one here on the main menu, but I couldn't quite get it to activate, so I'll try and see what I can do about that. But it's not working right now, so we'll just have to roll along and... Snake? Get away from there. But if we come over here to the scrapbook, you'll notice that we have a little Krusty stamp right there. That's because, as the stats will tell us, we have 100%ed the game, as I'm sure you well know. Mainly because we did that a couple episodes ago. But that's our reward for it. We get a nice little sticker on there. And that's not the only thing. If you remember, over in the bonus races back over here, you can change the direction of the track. Going backwards on the tracks is also a bonus for 100%. You don't get those otherwise. Even if you collect all the collector cards, that's not enough. You have to get 100% in the rest. And, so, I'll just hop on in, and I'll be cutting ahead back and forth to show off some of the stuff that I want to talk about. First and foremost, if you hop on top of a car like this, eventually the characters will start surfing on top of it to try and balance themselves. That's a nice little detail. So if you remember, for some missions we need either an outfit or a vehicle, and I'm most importantly going to be talking about a vehicle right here, to complete it. Well, the caveat is that you do need to get the vehicle out to start the mission, even if you already own it. So we need to get to the Plow King to show it off.
Can you come and get me? I'll pay you in back.
And it'll immediately start the mission proper. However, once we do that,
can you come and get me?
We can do anything we want. So once that trigger for the vehicle starts, you can go to absolutely any vehicle you want. That's something I didn't quite think about, but during the playthrough. But even if I did think of it, I'd rather play the game as intended. But it's something to keep in mind. If you're struggling with a mission and you have too much pride to skip past it, then you can sort of wiggle your way around the game's programming that way, because the trigger for the vehicle has already been hit. Now here's something else I want to show off. I'm going to grab the Duff Truck, which is statistically the worst vehicle in the game. It has the lowest star count out of any vehicle in the game. Total star count, I mean. But if we come over here, have it set as our vehicle, when we come over to the wager race, you'll notice that it says the difficulty is hard. That's because I never picked up on this, but the difficulty, or what it says the difficulty of the wager race is, and therefore where the payout is determined by what vehicle you're driving. So that's why it changed on me in level 6, because I was driving a better vehicle. And because of that, and because it assumed the race would be easier, I had a lower payout. The payout for such is that compared to the race, if the vehicle is ranked as easy, then it's just a 2 times payout compared to your entry fee. If it's medium or normal, 3 times. And obviously with hard right here, it's 4 times the entry fee. So, keep that in mind. That's something I didn't quite realize before. While we're here, there's something I want to mention. 2 things even. First of all the 2D art of the Simpsons characters had to be approved by Fox, who owns the rights to the Simpsons, at least in the United States as far as I know. And probably like the main rights, but I don't know about like distribution rights and that sort of stuff, especially now that the company's been having some financial issues. But the point is, back when this game came out, all the 2D art of the Simpsons, they were very particular about it, even in licensed products, so all the 2D art the game creators made had to be approved by Fox. Which makes that icon of Snake, where he has a brown vest over a blue vest, even weirder. That makes it even weirder that it got through both the game and Fox themselves. But anyway. Also, the second thing I want to show off isn't happening here, but oh well.
1 dozen of your best Tijuana toilet crackers, mother.
I read some sources that said you could kick Snake and your felony meter wouldn't go up because like it considered you doing the police a favor, but I think that was just a glitch more than anything. That just happened to be a coincidence, or whoever discovered it, because obviously it does go up, and also realistically kicking a felon is still a felon, because after all, assassinating an assassin still landed Jack Ruby in a whole lot of a prison sentence.
Gimme, gimme. How about a hard
But the other thing I want to show off is right up here. Excuse you. Chief Wiggum is right there, and after we talk to Bart, and our camera stops glitching, Chief Wiggum is going to be running after us. There's something I want to show off real quick. If he can be smart about this. Come on. I was standing in a straight line, bud. This is your fault if you can't do it. I'm going to get us. Where are you even going? The beautiful AI at work here, folks. It rammed into my car. Alright, that wasn't what I was expecting to happen, but, you know. I think that's just the case with this game in general. It was supposed to say that you would get busted, you know, like if the actual police catch you, but it would just respawn you. It wouldn't, like, find you or anything. Just a little thing. But apparently that's not happening. At least it doesn't happen right here. It was just a little detail that I read about before, but I can't seem to replicate. So apparently either these features didn't quite make it into the GameCube version, or I'm just not having luck showing them off. He's going to blow himself up. What happens if that happens? Is like automatic mission win?
And I'm just one day from retirement.
I can collect money from him.
I'm just
Oh, I
glad
failed
I'm
the
not
mission.
in
I don't
school.
care. Oh, I was going to hop into his chassis. Actually, I don't think I could. But sorry I couldn't show that off. That was a thing I read, so take it with a grain of salt. Here in this mission in level 3, Slithering Sloughs, you'll notice a little something, and you might have noticed it during the regular playthrough too.
Lisa Simpson at your service.
Once we start, I can show it off, and it's that while you're driving with Chief Wiggum in the front, your hit and run meter never builds up. Just an interesting little tidbit. At least in this universe, the police are allowed to break the rules while they're chasing down a suspect, especially if they're chasing down you, but while you're acting as the cop for once, the same rule also applies to you, which is a nice little detail that I appreciate a lot. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the really fun stuff. Cheat codes. Now, the codes I'm about to list, they all only apply specifically to the GameCube version. The codes are in other versions, but obviously the inputs for them will be a little different. But in the GameCube's case, to access these cheat codes, you go into the options menu and hold L and R. And then you enter the buttons themselves, which, let's see if this one works. X 4 times. That didn't work. Alright, so what you want to do for the options is go into options, hold down L and R, and that's the start for all of these. And there's some fun secret ones. To blow up vehicles instantly, you want, at least on the GameCube, you want YYXX. Release, and continue again, and let's see what happens. That's not what happened. Maybe it was already entered. YYXX.
Can't you see I'm driving
Why
here?
don't some of these there we go.
Okay, that's
I was having some trouble before. It just takes a little bit of oomph. It's not necessarily instant vehicle explosion. Now, what I do want to do is come back over here. And yes, in case you're wondering, all these codes are stackable.
Can you
I'm going
come
to
and get me?
be using Mr. Burns'
pay you
limo
in
to show some of this
bankroll.
stuff off. So we can already blow up vehicles instantly. In case you can't tell, it's a pretty nice way to get money, especially because it only counts the initial hit towards your hit and run meter. It doesn't count. Okay, never mind. It actually does count towards blowing up stuff does count towards your hit and run meter. I was just misjudging before. But hey, it's still a nice way to get money either way. If you are running shy of a few coins and you don't want to spend the time grinding. Does it work against the cops too? Or the cop? Huh, it does. I mean, the problem is the cops will keep on coming, but you can just slam into them. I know if you eventually kill the cops enough, it'll... just end the hit and run meter. Of course, the problem is you can still get busted even without it. But, in my case, that doesn't matter too much. Now, for faster cars, you enter XXXX, just X 4 times, and I think that does it. I could be mistaken. It's hard to tell, honestly. Actually, you know what would help with that? There's also a cheat for a speedometer. YYBX. And there you go, you have a little speedometer with you to count how fast you're going. And I'm pretty sure I do have fast cars on it, if that's the case, because I don't think this car would normally go 150. But just to verify, you can turn these off by entering the code again. So XXXX. Yeah, its speed got capped a little there.
Ow, my ass!
It doesn't quite want to go up to 150. Let's go. Okay, never mind. It's actually going higher than I thought. So maybe it... I can't tell if it's on or not, and that's actually a problem. You know what would help if I got a slower vehicle? So like, the... Hey, man. So like if I got the, fire truck... This would be enough. I can definitely tell the difference with this car.
Sleeping.
Also, something I didn't mention before is that,
Hey, King Homer, if you dare.
your hit and run meter... The music disappeared. That's a little odd. I think that's just a glitch more than anything. But, okay, fast vehicles is definitely on. Definitely on. Because, yeah, that bad boy is going fast. So now we know that it's on. I'm going to turn it off if I can.
Look, that wasn't part
Well,
of the deal.
that wasn't quite how I was intending it. But anyway, what I was trying to say before was, if you hop into a different vehicle while your hit and run meter is building up, then you can just instantly deplete it, like I'll demonstrate right
Can you come
here.
and get me? I'll pay you in back rub.
Of course, once the cops are on you, that's no use, and I couldn't show it
Let's
off
roll.
anyways. I thought you could turn these cheats off, but apparently not. On the other hand, I still feel like that car's... I feel like it... Okay, 200, definitely. Alright, let me see if I can turn the explosion cars off, because that would definitely let me know if you can turn these off. YYXX. Alright.
I didn't do it.
Okay, so you can't turn the codes off. That's important to remember. But there's also a cheat code for... There's another cheat code for fast cars. So, and since the other one was 4X's, the other cheat code is 4Y's. So let's see that, and let's crank this bad boy up. At the very least, it has some faster acceleration, it seems like. It's actually almost a little uncontrollable. It's very uncontrollable, even. Because looky there, I just hit an invisible wall.
I am evil Homer.
Alright.
I am evil Homer.
Okay. Yeah, it's definitely going a bit faster than many people would
Okay,
like.
That's a lawsuit. Go!
It's also damaging your vehicle greatly. But there's also a press horn to jump, which is a fun one. That's XXXY. Let's see if that one works. Oh, I blew up both of our cars. Can I drive my chassis around at super high speeds? Not that one. It's dug into the ground from how fast it was going.
That was so
Serves you right. In fact, I'm going to drive your car remains around. Oh my gosh, you can't even drive the chassis fast. Still can't turn worth a darn, but hey. I'm going to turn you into wreckage with my wreckage. Never mind, I can't turn. But if you do press the horn button to jump, you can just hop into the air. It's pretty crazy, and if there's a speed run that allows it, I'd imagine they'd get a lot of mileage out of it. Because you can just do all sorts of crazy stuff, and you can also see some out-of-bounds stuff if you so desire, and I don't think I was supposed to do that, because I think I just destroyed Marge's car, but that's her problem, alright? There's psychedelic view, which I don't understand, which is YBYB. Let's check that one out. And it's not working for me. Let me check. No, has nothing to do with this. Let me try that again. Alright, I don't know what psychedelic view is about. Let me actually verify that. Here's a fun one. Invincibility, hold L and right, YAYA. Now let's see if that works. We can ram our car and stuff at super high speeds, and if it doesn't get damaged, we know it works out well. That is in fact the case. It is working. So I don't know why psychedelic view isn't. Oh, I think it might have had it wrong, because here's YXYX. No, still none. Did I do that right? YXYX. Yeah, it's not working. I don't know why. This is even specifically listed on the GameCube thing, so I don't know what's up.
I am evil Homer. I am evil Homer.
But we can continue along. Actually, is it in the camera options? Or follow cam? Don't destroy that car. I want that car. And you can't get that car if you destroy it without driving it. So, talk about a rocket car. You can just fly wherever you want. Go where absolutely ever you want. And in case you're wondering, yes, the inside of Mr. Burns' mansion in this level is in fact rendered. It's not completely detailed, but it is rendered. And you can do all sorts of stuff with that, like clip into the roof. Drive backwards at 250 miles per hour. And the invincibility cheat is great because it allows you to drive this thing like an absolute madman. We just hit speeds of 450 miles an hour. I want you to appreciate that.
Nothing lasts forever.
And you can zoom around all you want. It's pretty terrific to combine these cheats all into one.
Wow, this car sure can take a beating.
Yeah, because I turned on the cheat code. And what's some other fun ones? Let's try and get to prison. We can't. In fact, you can go so high that you can actually start to see the limits of the rendering, and to the sky dome of the game. For example, you can see the blue void down there. So, interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. Now, something I wanted to say is that on the screen that I'm looking at, it says the sound of a horn will confirm correct code entry, but that obviously hasn't happened with these other ones, so I don't know what's up with that. Let's try some of the other altered view ones. Let's see if those work. BBBA. That says alternate view, so I don't know what that's about. Is that also in settings? Comedy, yeah. Comedy cam, let's go with that. Let's see what comedy cam has to say for us. It's a little too close for comfort right now. Oh, it doesn't follow you off of a jump. That's interesting. So it's close until it decides to go over a jump. In that case, it just sees you fly off. Let's see if I can navigate myself over here. Show it off.
You're not gonna get more?
Yeah, there we go. So when you get off the ground, the camera decides to stay put. That's how this thing is programmed. Am I ever going to come back down from that jump? Yep. Eventually. So, comedy cam, that's comedy cam, spy cam. Is this like, oh, like a camera's watching you.
Oh, I think I broke something.
Quite the camera there. And it just shifts around every now and then. I see. Now, of course, these cameras are just for fun. You're not actually expected to drive with these or anything. Thankfully, no. So, what's some other ones? Chase cam. Oh, like a police chase, appropriately enough.
My neck.
So, let's see if the cops can catch this. Oh, I got stuck. This one actually isn't too bad for driving if you at least roughly know the layout of the road. The only difficulty is seeing your vehicle on a, what, 480p screen at most. Well, you can play the Xbox version in HD, I believe. At least with the HDMI output, I mean. With backwards compatibility, I mean.
Oh, my head. I have no insurance.
Come on. Yeah, destroy the school bus. Oh, let's see if you can get me, cops.
Oh, I swallowed my
This is-
gum.
This is exactly what this camera was designed for.
Retribution.
This is a really bad day.
Oh my gosh. Let's come around here.
I'm not a man.
You'll never catch me. Especially when I go into a tunnel that you can see from above. So yeah, obviously they didn't care about using the limitations of their design. They just want you to have fun with these camera options. So what's after that? Chase cam, cold cam. Oh! To show you, I don't know, what, show you stuff.
Oh, come on. Nothing lasts forever.
What does it mean by cold cam? Whatever it is, the camera's remaining stationary, and I don't quite like it.
Do you do better? Eat
Like
my
it's not
butt.
turning at all. Is that the point?
Another one? Okay, that's a lawsuit.
And it also lets you see the outside boundaries of the level, and I'm not gonna lie, it's very disorienting. I hate it. Tracker cam, debug cam, tracker cam. What's that? Does it just follow you around? Oh, I see now. I see now. I think I see now. It just stays in place and it follows your car around endlessly. I picked a bad spot to show that off. And a debug cam. Yep, that's the last one. So what on earth is this? What on earth?
Look out!
Take this.
What am I supposed to be seeing? Let's get out of the car.
Wow, this car
I don't get what it
taking
means by
me-
debug cam.
Whoop.
I'm not seeing that much difference now that I'm in here, except it lets me glitch through things. Or is that just because of my speed? Might be both. Oh. No, let me through. You should not be able to stop a 300-mile-per-hour rocket.
You better run.
I have road rage and I know
Oh.
how to use it.
Signs shouldn't be able to stop 300-mile-per-hour rockets either. But that's all right there. Let's see if we can get some of the other ones. There's phased view, which is YBYB. Grid view is baby, B-A-B-Y. Oh, that's grid view. so showing you like the actual geometry. Ugh. I feel like I'm in Death Stranding or something with all this stuff going on. Ugh. Now I wish I could show off psychedelic view or phased view, but it's not working quite right now. Either of them. Let me try again. YX, YX, YB, YB. What do the other ones say? Yeah, none of the other stuff's working. I'm sorry, I can't show that off. I don't know what it's about. Like psychedelic view and what was it? Psychedelic view and yeah, I know stuff's going on. I just don't care that much. Psychedelic view and face view. I can't seem to get them to work, so sorry I can't show that off. But there is one last code that I do want to show off as soon as we can get out of the way. Also, in case you're wondering, yeah, invincibility, speed, instant destruction, very good for grinding. I didn't do that off screen, I did it legitimately, but hey, it's fun to show off anyway. But if we come out here into the backyard where there's still some grid stuff, we can kick Ralph. But anyway, there's one other code we can enter. That is BBYX. And it didn't do it. Maybe I need to go to a different level. So where's one I can get to? Easy. Level 4. That was not what I wanted. Thank you very much. This, honestly, scrolling through those menus has shown me how rough the D-pad is. And here's what that code did. I couldn't show it off because it was I was already driving the secret vehicle. But that code will change the secret vehicles in every level into these little Lego-ish car sorts of things. Now don't ask how they're supposed to drive like, because I've already entered all the codes, and obviously they carry over from level to level, but hey. It's weird to see Marge, like, bent over driving this thing. It's weird, and I don't know if it's supposed to be like a knockoff Lego or what have you, but the handling on this sorts of cars, or is it just taking the property of the normal bonus cars and doing stuff with them? Let me check that out. Is it just like replacing the model? That might be the case, because that felt a lot like the RV. So I'm going to check out the rocket car again. Also, while I forget to mention it, or before I forget to mention it, there's something particular about the GameCube that I thought about. Let me verify the term real quick. So yeah, the proper term I was thinking of is that the GameCube and the original Xbox, they both had analog shoulder buttons. That being that the buttons themselves, they can like sense different levels of sensitivity to them. And I guess you know, the PlayStation also had analog buttons, but they didn't work that well, and basically only Metal Gear Solid used them. And not even that well. But that means that it's not just off or on, there is a sliding scale of stuff you can do. And the way I've always played this game was just mashing down the A button, which is obviously all or none, and it'll make you take off like that. But I read a thing that said that the Xbox version does make use of its analog shoulder buttons for variable driving. And I was thinking, well, the GameCube has those, so does that work? Yes, it does, because that's me holding in the R button just a little bit. And here's me mashing the brake button just a little bit. It helps if I don't run into a wall. Now here's me mashing the R full throttle. It'll go zooming off, and here's me mashing the brake button full throttle, again, not helped by me ramming into walls. But the point still stands. The point still stands that for all that time I had controlling the game, it was because I was going either full throttle or like full brake. And let's check this out. See if it does spew fire out the back. So yeah, it is just a model replacement for the cars, it looks like. This does feel like it's controlling like the rocket car, especially when that happens. But just an interesting thing I thought I would note. Now, all the cheat codes that I've mentioned so far, guess what? They can be used at any point in the game. You just have to enter those codes and they'll work, even if you start up the tutorial. However, there is a caveat. Remember that you can't turn them off during your current play session. You'd have to restart the GameCube. And let's just say not all of the cheat codes are always beneficial. Let's use this as an example. Let's see if we can destroy Marge's car here. And now let's enter the mission and see what it makes us do. If you remember, we have to drive Marge's car for this mission. I think it might actually just respawn it, but yeah, it did. But there's a bigger problem. This is a mission where we have to hit, but not destroy, this vehicle. Well, destroy it, and you get one crate, but you can't get any other objects from it. Not even from the chassis. So that means it is impossible to beat this mission. Especially when the vehicle itself just straight up despawns. So keep that in mind. Particularly with the exploding vehicle cheat, it will keep you from unlocking or keep you from beating a good number of missions. Though that said, you can also, if you might remember, you can also skip any mission in the game. And well, except for the last one. And I did check up on that. It's 5 mission failures in a row to be able to skip the mission. And there's not any really serious consequences on that. I'll cancel this mission so I can show. The only thing of note is that you'll, instead of these green check marks, you'll get a red X on it after you fail it. And if you skip it, it'll remain a red X. But you'll just continue on. The story will continue like you completed the previous mission. All that. And you can do that for any level in the game, except for Alien Autopsy Part 3. You have to be that one legitimately to be able to see the credits. Speaking of the credits, there was an alternate credits music thing, but I'll just play that at the end of the episode instead of me trying to talk over it. But there's also another cheat code that I want to make sure I have entered right. And unlike the other cheat codes, this one can only be accessed after you've 100%ed the game. Once you've got that golden crusty sticker, you can enter it. So, same as before, options menu, L and R, and then A, B, A, B. And I probably should have done this closer to a phone booth, because that's where we need to go. But what it'll allow us to do is come over here to a phone booth after Homer's done complaining. And you'll see not much is different here. Well, if you hold in the L button, it'll take you to this little screen here. And you can unlock a number of vehicles. And you can search through all the vehicles in the game, including your own. And including some that are not your own. For example, you can get the World War II vehicle with the rocket here. So if you enjoyed Grandpa's Spiffy Ride, and you wish you could see it without the grid, actually I might just restart so I can show it off. Also, yeah, I think I'm going to do that. So, real quick. Now before I forget, there's something I wanted to mention right here. This title screen can actually change depending on the holiday. There are 3 holidays that I was able to verify through this, that being Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. I've also seen 2 separate sources, like the psychedelic thing, say that there's one for New Year's, but I haven't been able to get it by setting the system. Oh, and you unlock those by changing the GameCube's clock itself to the appropriate date. Whatever Thanksgiving is, October 31st and December 25th. Those all work. But I haven't been able to get the New Year's one to unlock, even though I've tried both December 31st and January 1st, so I don't know what's up with that. But we'll continue back into the game. So like I said, you can get the World War II vehicle with the rocket, and it functions exactly like you would think. Just speeding along like this. And by the way, I did check. I did also check some other sources again, and it did agree that the speed and acceleration on this thing were at max capacity, but the toughness and handling were still the same as the regular World War II vehicles. So that's what's different about that. And also, obviously, you're going so fast that it effectively has worse handling because of that. Because as you're trying to make a turn, instead of, you know, slinging around the corner, you'll sling into the wall and then continue forward from there. But we can also get any of the secret vehicles, like the ATV, the Night Boat, pretty appropriate name for that, the monorail car, the Obliteration, the Planet Height 50s car, which is a very apt name for it, a bit on the nose, but, you know, again, they couldn't use Cadillac, RC Buggy, the Speed Rocket, yeah, and, let me just verify that that's not a different one. Yeah, that's the one we already have. Some of these are out of order. I don't get quite why. And you can get some of the cars that the cell phone drivers were driving in level 2, if you remember, when we had to destroy them. And it even has a low polygon model for the driver. Oh, and you can hear the phone going off. Because he's being rude and driving while texting, even though, considering it's coming out from the antenna back here, it's probably like a sort of Bluetooth, if I had to guess. In which case, that's actually perfectly legal. In fact, that's the only way you can talk while driving legally in my state. But they also have 2 unused variants, where it has the same low poly driver, but just different colors of sedans. A nice little lavender color. Oh, never mind, they have several ones. Turquoise. A little bright for my tastes. The Chase sedan, let me just verify real quick. Yeah, that's the one we own. Cola truck. I'm just verifying because these could be other things technically. The Cube van. That's a weird thing. Curator, Donut truck, Duff truck. The Farini Black. It's pretty similar model to Bart's Farini Red, except it's not a convertible. It has another low poly driver. This time, he's a bit higher definition than the other dudes, but you can hop into it and drive along. I don't know what his stats are. It might just be the Farini Red, except modified, except different. But this is it's interesting that they put it in as the Farini Red, because in the rest of the game, you might have noticed this car before. It's referred to, or Farini Black, rather. You might have noticed that we've seen this car before. It's the alien sports car that we had to race against several times in level 7. And interesting, the trunk doesn't fly open with damage, because the motor's in the front on this one. Probably just because they didn't care enough to put a detail for such a minute car that only people who've 100%ed the game could do. And again, that cheat code only works for 100%ed files. The milk truck. So that's an interesting thing. For that one level, you can drive it around now. It's pretty awful, as you might expect. But interesting nonetheless. They do basically let you drive nearly any car that's appeared in the game. Even if you have to do it through these cheat codes. The No Nuplets minivan? Oh yeah, that's the one that Apu has to ram to collect like his baby's diapers. That's weird. I don't quite like it. Surveillance van, let's just verify. Yeah. Compact car. So, like a tiny sedan. Is it a sedan if it's only a 2-door? I'm not sure. Minivan. So yeah, these are just the civilian cars we're going through now. Pickup. Sedan A. Sedan B. Sports car A. Sports car B. What's the difference? This one has a spoiler and like raised hood lights, but otherwise they might just appear on different levels. I can't tell the difference too much. Station wagon. SUV. The taxi. Coffin car. Oh yeah. Ghost ship. I've got plans for you. Though, hello, hearse. I don't know what that's referring to. Is the driver like normal, or is it a vampire too, or is it a zombie? It might be a zombie actually, which is odd. Actually, it looks like a low poly human. I can't tell. I need to see the head more clearly. Yeah, that looks just like a person, so I don't know what that's about. The witch broom. Oh yeah, I've got plans for you too. Ambulance. Burns armor truck for his casino. The fish van. Garbage truck. Ice cream truck, which is interesting because this doesn't appear anywhere in the game. This is the only place you'll find it in the files. Many people suspect that in the tutorial mission, you remember we had to collect ice cream. They suspect that you were supposed to be able to ram into this to collect the ice cream. Also, it's a little weird that it's stylized after Marge. Looks uncomfortable. That's probably why they cut it. An itchy and scratchy movie truck. Oh, that's the same thing that we've seen before. Nuclear waste truck. For a second, I looked like a poo was driving that. But I was mistaken. Pizza van. Mini school bus. Vote Quimby truck. I might drive that around just for fun. And here's some obviously not intended for regular use cars, because they don't even have proper names. The glass truck. Okay, never mind. They just didn't bother to give them full names. Fire truck. Yeah, that's our fire truck. Too big. Too big. The Seabone. What's that? This weird thing. Oh, Bone Storm. That's what it is. The truck we had to destroy. And finally, the red brick car. No, I was wrong. It actually seems to have stats of its own, so when you do input that code, the cars do get replaced with a completely separate car. It's not just a model swap. At least as far as I can tell. It has a stupid little horn, as you'd expect for a brick car. And unfortunately, that looks like it's all of our special cars. Now, there's something I forgot to test out. I want to see what the damage animation for this car is. Oh, it does have a horn. Listen to that. It has like the foghorn spell. The foghorn sound that SpongeBob uses to like indicate a foul smell or something gross. It's beautiful. This thing actually isn't taking damage, so it might be indestructible. Oh, never mind. The lad just starts smoking instead. Now what happens if I destroy it? Come on, I know I can destroy you. Oh, he catches on fire. I guess he is like considered the motor, so that's probably why that happens. And you can't drive the chassis around because that's a little rude, but we'll save him from an even worse eternal fate. Now I turned on the horn to jump cheat, both the fast cars cheat and the invincibility cheat, so I'm going to use this man's newfound escape from eternal damnation to row indefinitely as fast as he freaking can, and we'll use our ghostly powers to fly into the air.
Wow, this car sure can take a beating.
Wow, Homer even leans in the car. That's a little nice detail. Row to your heart's content, little bud.
Oh, now I have a wedgie.
Now we're going to use the witch and her magic to go flying around. And when I mean flying, I mean it. It's just really enjoyable to mess with these controls every now and then.
Eat my dust.
Unfortunately, sometimes you can't get stuck. But hey, at least I'm driving the witch's broom, which is tiny and maneuverable.
Nothing lasts forever.
Now, there's something real interesting over here in level 6 that I want to show off. just for this one level. If I can get off that page. There's a fun ramp down here. When I was playing this game when I was younger, there was a lot of fun stuff you could do with this ramp. And I loved to just jump off of there. So much so that eventually there's something I wanted to replicate. Now, while I'm trying to get something to happen, I want to tell you about a little something else. That's the final ultimate cheat code for this version of the game. However, the PC version specifically allows an additional cheat code. Aside from just being able to use any car you want, you can also use any character model that you want. I don't know what the cheat code is, but it also requires 100%. And when you do it on the PC, you are allowed to change the character who you're playing as in any level into any NPC that you want. Not even just the player characters, I believe. You can do the player characters, but I think it goes even beyond that. However, there is a thing with that version, though. If you try and start a mission, particularly if it starts with dialogue... Oh man, I thought I could skip that. Particularly if it starts with character dialogue, it'll cause the game to freeze. And, however, it doesn't freeze permanently. You just need to wait it out. Because... Or... No, I need to say it more specifically. It'll, like, stutter a little bit when you start the mission. It'll take a little while to load up because it's like, you're not Homer, you're a Pooh. What are you doing here? You shouldn't be talking to Lisa. What line should I play? But eventually it sorts it out, and then it gets going. However, if you cancel the mission dialogue because you're like, is the game frozen? If you cancel the mission dialogue there, then the game actually will freeze because it doesn't quite know how to handle that part. And that'll cause the game to, like, permanently lock up until you do a hard reset. So that's something to keep in mind if you're playing the PC version. I don't think the PC version's available on GOG, I'll check. It's certainly not available on Steam. I've never seen it on there, and I'd imagine it'd probably be a pretty popular title. Instead, all the other stuff that's popular on GOG is like The Witcher and SWAT 4, because that's the only place you can legally buy SWAT 4 anymore. In fact, I think it's the only legal place where you can buy a bunch of Sierra games. But that's beside the point. I'll check in just a moment after we fail at this. Yeah, no Simpsons game is available on GOG.com, so unfortunately, if you want a PC version, you're either going to be doing something illegal, in which case I'll stop you, and or you'll be buying the disc itself. And there we go. That's what I was trying to show off. If you hit that a certain way, you can clip out of bounds and drive on the ocean. It's a little awkward because the ocean's technically under all the structures that are the ocean, but it's fun nonetheless. You can leave skip marks on the ocean, and you can even drive all the way into the sunset. Unfortunately, the camera glitches out, so let me adjust something real quick. Bumper cam. Just to make sure we're going the right way. I want to continue driving out as far as I feasibly can. Sounds like I'm having some issues. Let's go back to far cam. It keeps on wanting to show me landing in, but... Oh no, I'm still going. I just have no frame of reference to be able to see what's happening. Because those skid marks are leaving behind me, so I know something's happening. We'll see how far this takes me. And I know I was able to do this glitch with the rocket car and the fast speed stuff, being able to break out of the bounds like that, clip out of it farther than they expected you to go. I feel like I have some memories of doing that with the, actually I know I did it with the open wheel race car, but I'm not sure if I had the cheats on or off at that point, like the speed cheats, because I feel like I had them on, but I had the open wheel race car because I didn't know how to access this car. But if you're trying to do this, keep that in mind. Also, I want to drive into the moon. Okay, I think this has some trick to go on an infinite amount, because if you look behind us, you'll notice a little something. There is nothing behind us. We've driven so far out that we can't even see the architecture of the game anymore. Now, in case you're wondering, what the heck do I do? First of all, you just gotta use your map and follow the beacon. Hope it works. And eventually, you'll come back on civilization. Now, you can see we're about to get back to the mainland if the camera will drift up. You can see it starting to fade into existence there. And something I want to mention is that I never even made progress trying to move outside of the skybox. I realized that because the skybox isn't locked to a specific place. The skybox follows you. So, below you, you're at the same point in the skybox basically always. Interesting thing to note, even if the ground itself moves, the skybox and the graphics that contain it will follow you. Because, like, obviously, the ground just seems to be infinite because it'll just continue going along. You can see from the tire tracks leading way back there. But interesting thing to note, we're steadily approaching mainland. And if we come up here, you can see real quick that not only is some of the geometry a little off, being below or under things. Wow, wow, wow. We actually have a tiny version. We've got a tiny version over here. But if you come over, we respawn back on the road, as we probably should have. So there's that to keep in mind. If you need to respawn, you can just come back here. But I think that's about all I have to say for this episode. I know the recording was awfully long. I don't know what it's going to be edited down to, but I think the that's an odd place to get stuck. I think the recording was like an hour and a half, a little over, something like that. It was a while. It was a beefy boy, but I doubt it's going to be an hour and a half of video. But that's all I have to say for The Simpsons Hit and Run. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys for the next series. See ya.